fundamentally from a mission standpoint, things haven't changed at all at VMG, which is our ethos is to support founders and entrepreneurial management teams to help build iconic brands. And but how that occurs has changed quite a bit. And we pride ourselves on evolving as the consumer evolves. We've believed in the incrementality of change, and that consumers have already been moving towards a focus on trying to be the better, try to improve their health in terms of what they put on in and on their bodies. So does this accelerate it a bit? Yes, but it also depends on the economic environment too, of the circularity of their ability to afford some of these products, which sometimes cost a bit more. So, but on a net basis, as we saw during the great financial crisis back in 08, 09, that, consumers will continue to incrementally improve what they put in and on their bodies, even in times of economic challenge. So we believe that will continue. Really continue as the world starts to open up, be very flexible and empathetic to your team members. Continue to stay paranoid related to supply chain, because anything can happen, and even in a normal environment, but certainly in today's day and age, as a business, thinking about liquidity and making sure that companies are being thoughtful around running upside and downside case scenarios, and what their cash situation looks like. And if they haven't been focused on e-commerce to date, that they should really be thinking about how are they, from a direct to consumer, Amazon and grocery delivery, and then lastly, click and collect programs from the large retailers. Do they have a strategy to address those fronts to continue to drive forward their businesses? But I think the big thing is we should live in an empathetic world where we're empathetic to our teams, our suppliers, the broader consumer, and then certainly trying to help consumers get these products that help them live an incrementally better life in the ways that they feel comfortable buying those products. They should put their teams first, in making sure that the health and safety and the well-being is focused upon. From a supply chain dynamic, they should understand what are the supply chain potential limitations of innovation at this point. Can they produce it? What are are they putting any undue stress on their manufacturing supply chain by doing so? Do they have the liquidity to pursue innovation? Because that's certainly, that's additional inventory. There's cost to launch the product, and have they modeled all of that out? And then there's certainly channel dynamics that is ever evolving, that's tied to the health and safety of the front line of the store workers, et cetera. Of, do they have the ability to execute resets in the foreseeable future? And that changes by the day in terms of by retailer. So I think, we believe in the incrementality of change. So innovation is important. But I think as long as companies have thought about all of these different dynamics related to team, supply chain, liquidity, and channel dynamics, and how they have a really thoughtful plan around doing so. I'm humbled every time an entrepreneur comes up with a new idea, because I think that's the spirit of how things change for the positive in society, is someone challenging the status quo and coming up with a new idea in terms of how or why or what we should be doing that's different than what's been the status quo for a period of time. But it always starts with the why. I hope that entrepreneurs have a real purpose to what they're doing. They shouldn't be starting it just because they believe it's a just the economic side of things. Successful entrepreneurs generally have a tremendous vision in terms of the mission and purpose of why they're doing what they're doing, and why what they're doing is going to change something that's very much the status quo. When you pair those dynamics with empathy and trying to be the best self that someone can be, and trying to do net good in the world, I think is a really important thing. And and I wish that entrepreneur the best of luck, and I would want to offer them any help that VMG or myself can go support them in any way that we can to help them achieve their dreams.